in the heart of a powerful empire, surrounded by gold, authority, and absolute security, lived a man whose position placed him beside the throne, but whose soul was far from comfort. While he served wine in royal halls, his thoughts were fixed on broken walls, burned gates, and a city left in shame. How could someone live in peace when his people lived in ruins? How could his hands remain steady when his heart was collapsing? What began as silent grief soon turned into a dangerous prayer, one capable of changing history. Remember your promise, and grant me favor before the king. What seemed like a personal burden was, in truth, the birth of an impossible mission. A calling that did not come from ambition, but from brokenness. A work that would not begin with stones, but with tears. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer live in disgrace. Can a single vision awaken an entire nation? Can faith unite fearful, exhausted people? What followed would prove that it can. As the people rose with one purpose, opposition rose with them. Mockery came quickly. Voices claimed the work was weak, useless, laughable. They said even a fox could tear it down. But against human ridicule stood a firm declaration born of faith. Do not be afraid. Remember the Lord, great and awesome. With a tool in one hand and a weapon in the other, the work advanced against all logic. In just 52 days, the impossible became reality. Yet the greatest miracle was not the wall itself, but the restoration of hearts. Nehemiah was not only a strategist, he was a man of relentless prayer, a rebuilder of cities and souls. It all began in Susa, the capital of the Persian Empire, around 445 years before Christ. Decades had passed since the exiles returned to rebuild the temple, but Jerusalem remained exposed. Its walls were down, its people lived in fear. In the royal court stood Nehemiah, a Jew entrusted with the life of the king himself. As cupbearer, every sip mattered. He was guardian of the throne, silent witness of power. Then the news arrived like a blade to the heart. Jerusalem lay in ruins. The people were suffering. The city was a mockery. Nehemiah did not react with anger or impulsive plans. He sat down, he wept, he fasted, he prayed for days. He confessed sins not only of the nation, but his own. He remembered ancient promises. And in that prayer, a risky request took shape. Give me favor before the king. Have you ever wondered what happens when sincere prayer aligns with God's purpose? Months passed, the perfect moment arrived. As Nehemiah served the wine, the king noticed his face. Something was different. The burden could no longer be hidden. The king asked. Fear filled Nehemiah's heart. A silent prayer rose within him. And then he spoke. He spoke of Jerusalem, of the ruins, of the shame. The king listened, and something extraordinary happened. There was no punishment. There was favor, permission, provision, letters, resources, protection. When God opens a door, no one can shut it. Nehemiah traveled to Jerusalem with royal authority and divine mission, but he did not act recklessly. He observed, he waited, he prayed. He walked at night among rubble and ashes, measuring the destruction. Only then did he speak to the people, not with empty words, but with truth. You see the trouble we are in. Come, let us rebuild. And the response was immediate. Let us rise and build. Their hands were strengthened, their hearts ignited, opposition intensified. Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem mocked, threatened, and accused. Nehemiah refused compromise. He declared the work belonged to God. Families rebuilt side by side. Priests, merchants, craftsmen, each on their section of the wall. Unity emerged in chaos. What happens when people realize the mission is bigger than any one man? Mockery turned into plots. Fear tried to enter. Exhaustion spread. But Nehemiah prayed and acted. Guards were set. Families were armed. The people were reminded why they fought. Fight for your sons, your daughters, your homes. Strategy shifted. They built while watching. Watched while building, swords and stones. Faith and discipline. The enemy was frustrated. Then came an even greater threat: injustice within. The poor were exploited. Brothers oppressed brothers. Nehemiah confronted it fiercely. He demanded restoration, and he led by example. He took no privilege. He abused no authority. He served with sacrifice. Integrity became leadership, and the people responded. The wall was completed. 52 days. The enemies were humbled. They recognized the work was done by God. But Nehemiah knew walls alone were not enough. Hearts needed renewal. The word was read. The people wept, repented, rejoiced. Revival followed. Covenant was restored. Joy returned. Years later, Nehemiah returned to find neglect, corruption, and compromise. He acted with zeal. He cleansed the temple, restored order, defended holiness, and his story closed with a humble prayer: "Remember me, my God, for good." This was Nehemiah, a cupbearer turned reformer, a leader who prayed, acted, and endured. A man who proves that true faith never remains still. It builds, it confronts, it resists. If this story spoke to your heart, support this message by liking the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel so you, Dan T, miss the powerful truths hidden in Scripture, because even today God is still raising rebuilders of walls and lives.